Eagles, Commanders, with the NFC East on the line, well, for the Eagles, to lock it up. It's a big game on Sunday. We're going to talk all about it. Final preview and prediction for Eagles, Commanders on Sunday. Plus, the Sixers' new arena is a go in Center City. We'll talk about that a little bit. And the Phillies wake up and make a free agent signing finally. Woohoo! Yay! Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. So please do me that favor, smash that like button and subscribe button. If you've done all that, hit that share button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Anything you could do to help the algorithm grow, help this show and channel be found by as many people as possible. It means a lot. I'm not sure if you really, truly understand how much all your help can really do to help grow this great channel, guys. So please smash that like and subscribe button and then do that share button for me. Greatly appreciate it. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all social media platforms at Beard of Knowledge. Shoot me a follow there. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, that. We got a lot on the agenda today. Today is Friday, Football Friday. So we're going to preview Eagles, Commanders one final time, give out our final predictions on how this game will look, how we expect it to play out. We'll take a look at the injury reports. We'll take a little gander into what this game means. So all that is on the agenda today, obviously. Also on the agenda today, Sixers' new arena is a go down in Center City. Thoughts on that will be discussed throughout this show, I am sure, as I know it's a very hot-button topic for a lot of people. And then, of course, the Philadelphia Phillies woke up and made a fantastic signing yesterday. Notice the sarcasm in my voice right there on that one. So we will discuss that. But let's dive into the comments. Let's dive into the Eagles versus the Commanders to start the show, guys. And then we'll go from there. Good morning, TMC. Good morning, Duck. Good morning, Adam, to everybody jumping in early. Today's topic be how important is the playoff bye week for the Eagles? And I don't know if that's the question today. I think the question is, can they still get it? What is the chances? And you push this team really hard to try and get it? That would be the number one question. A week of rest for players who hasn't gotten a week since week 5, it would be so nice. It would be, Duck. But would it be just as important just to lock it up and, so to say, get, rest the players in week 18? You could rest A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Carter, Saquon in week 18 if you can't get the 1 seed. Look, I'm all for going for the 1 seed. I think the number 1 seed is extremely important. Having any team have to come through Philly is a big deal. Have a team like Detroit that have to come play in the cold Lincoln Financial Field in January. I don't think they'd be prepared for it. It's very important. But what's also important, and my number 1 key to the game on Sunday, is to stay healthy. To me, that is the top priority this weekend. We don't have the injuries that the Detroit Lions have. We got a lot of banged up nixes and bruises and cuts on this team. A.J. Brown popped up yesterday, not just rest, but with knee issues. Look, we need to stay healthy. It's so important. Bills wrecked Lions, but the Lions will have to lose again. Yeah, there's a couple scenarios, but the odds. I don't know what the official odds are that we get it, but there's still a lot of work to do to get it. Good morning, Little G. Hope you are well. Anthony, good morning. My concern for the number 1 seed is the Vikings. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are talking about the Vikings. Obviously, because Sam Darnold, there's a lot of people that don't have faith in Sam Darnold. But that defense is playing great, and they got Justin Jefferson. So the Vikings are concerned for sure, 100%. The traffic is a nightmare in South Philly. It's going to be even worse in Center City. What a nightmare. Yeah, on the Sixers Arena, look, I don't go to enough sporting events to care about the location. I really thought the stadium was being built on taxpayer dollars. It turns out it's not. That they are privately funding it themselves, but they're getting like something like a $400 million tax break to build it. That $400 million in tax breaks could have definitely done some good. That's all I'm worried about. But yeah, the traffic down there, public transportation from the suburbs isn't as great as people think it is to get to the city. So it's going to be tough for people outside of the city to get to the stadium for sure. Max Kepler, really, that was a key signing. Man, and what a knockout of the park by Dave Dombrowski, bringing in Max Kepler. Knockout of the park. 32-year-old right fielder, who we already have a right fielder, who hasn't played left field, who had probably his worst year of the last six this past year, and you gave him $10 million. And the Phillies only have about $5 or $7 million left until they hit the next tax threshold. So I kind of feel like the Max Kepler signing means there is another move on the way. First off, you have two right fielders now. Is Nick Castellanos going to move back to left? I don't know. Something's going to have to give there with the Phillies. We can lock up the division this week. Yeah, I mean, I don't foresee locking up the division a problem anyway. But yeah, we can get the NFC East crown by winning on Sunday. Thank you very much. I'm more worried about Rams or Bucks stomping Eagles than Packers or Vikings. I don't know why. We already stomped the Rams. We're a better team than the Bucks. We've already beat the Packers. My biggest concern would be the Lions, even with them being backed up. Who? Who what? Max Kepler? Who? What? Why? When? Where? Let's go. What's up, Joe? How you doing this morning? Marshawn, you as well. I was so happy they got Kepler. I told my wife I'm getting a Kepler jersey this year. I really feel that there's a little bit of sarcasm in that comment, Anthony, for sure. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I just don't understand why they would spend $10 million on Max Kepler. Like, he's just another. I've seen people say he's a left-handed Austin Hayes. You could have kept Austin Hayes a little cheaper. Like, I just don't see a scenario where that was a good move at all. What's up, Scotty? You're a city guy. I'd love to know Scotty's opinion on the new stadium in downtown Center City for the Sixers. But what's up, my man? Good to see you this morning. I'm serious. My son's name is Kepler. Oh, okay. Well, that makes a little sense. So you could get your son like a jersey with his name on it, but also then it could transition to, it being a little bit of both there. I love that because I'm against having your own name put on a jersey, but yeah. What's up, Judd? Good morning. Good Friday morning to you. That explains the enthusiasm. Yeah, absolutely. What team did Kepler come from? He's been with Minnesota his entire career. He's 31. He'll be 32 by the start of training camp or spring training. He came into the league in 2025 or 2015. He was a good player at one point, like 2018, 2019, 2020. He had a solid 2023. But last year he played 105 games. He had 253, had a 682 OPS, 8 homers, 42 RBIs, 80 strikeouts in 100 games. Just not anything special. I live in South Philly. My opinion doesn't matter. Oh, okay. Your opinion always matters, Duck. Always matters. But I'm just saying, like, for me out in Coatesville, like, there's no public transportation for me to get. I got to drive to it. I'm not driving to Center City for the stadium. To me, that's annoying. To me, it's annoying that they're getting $400 million in tax breaks and they're only going to commit to like $60 million helping the neighborhoods. Like, that $400 million in tax breaks could have fixed schools, could have put air conditions in schools and city, improved some of the roadways and stuff. But love the idea of the arena in the city. It's either that or a shopping mall again. That's true. And look, it works with. I mean, Scotty, I don't know if you've ever been to Brooklyn to see a game there at the Barclays Center. It works in the city there, but that's New York. It's different. The subway system, the infrastructure there can handle it. And there ain't no parking anywhere near the Barclays Center, but it works there. in that city. I just don't know if it works for the amount of people in the suburbs that tend to go to the games. Again, my opinion doesn't matter because, hell, I haven't been to a Sixers game in shit. Actually, the Barclays Center was my last Sixers game. My last Sixers game in Philly was the Kobe Bryant tribute game. That's how long ago it was that I went to a Sixers game. So my opinion on it really doesn't matter outside the tax ramifications, which I think is annoying. Grew up in South Philly, but my opinion doesn't matter. Philly signed Mel Kiper. Who? Yeah, I didn't say Mel Kiper. I said Max Kepler. Just so you know, you're not going to get me on that one. I think this is response to my dislike of our clown coach. Oh my God, we're going to start negative already with clown coach comments. I don't think Nick Sirianni gets enough credit, Duck, for how fantastic of a job he is doing coaching this Eagles team this year. He is doing a fantastic job. Just going to say that. Who cares about the massive Philly people when you can watch basketball? The other good thing is it should lead to us getting a WNBA team, and I'd be kind of excited for that. Build another Geno's in the city. Yeah, the crappy cheesesteaks. I've been to Barclays for a concert. It's nice. Yeah, it's a nice stadium. I don't think it's got, for a new stadium, enough bells and whistles, honestly. But the location of it is central, easy to public transportation. They work with the lack of parking in the area. It works. But New York's a little different than Philly when it comes to the transportation situation. My last Sixers game I went to, Ben Simmons had a triple-double for us. That was a few years ago, probably, Joe. Winners win, and that's Nick Sirianni. That's the case. Nick Sirianni hasn't just won 10 games in a row this year. Nick Sirianni has battled drama. Nick Sirianni's battled locker room issues. Nick Sirianni's battled a lot of outside noise and kept this team winning. And the fact that Nick Sirianni's not anywhere near the top of the Coach of the Year betting odds, shocking. If I had a vote, I'd be voting for Nick Sirianni. Not just because I'm an Eagles fan, but because he deserves that credit. My point more or less is that the arena will not be staying the same regardless. The money will be spent on something ridiculous. May as well be Sixers and entertainment. I get that. I feel bad. I will feel bad eventually for the people down there, like the casino and Xfinity Live. They're going to lose out. I would say the Sixers and the Eagles bring the biggest crowds that spend money after the game or before the games and stuff like that. So Xfinity Live and the live casino, they're going to take a hit losing the Sixers. And honestly, we're still 7 years away, probably at least, for the stadium opening. So a lot can change down there. A lot of work can be done there. But, yeah, I get it. And at some point, I'll probably find a way to make my way down there. But I will not be one of the people rushing down there to get to the arena. The arena would be used for concerts and stuff as well. I agree. Concerts, WNBA. Don't forget about that as well. Scotty, ain't nobody reading that essay. I read it. My question is, here's my question, because I read something yesterday, and it didn't really explain why. I don't know if it was the Crossing Broad article or whatever. Why do people think it's better for the Sixers and Flyers to have separate arenas? Like, what good does that do? They're like, oh, and it'll be better for the Flyers to have their own place. Like, does that really make a difference that reporters are reporting that? I don't know. In Sirianni, we trust. Adam, I trust Sirianni with my football team 1,000%, even if we lose this week, which we could lose. I mean, it really could. But I trust him with this team 100%. All the money going to basketball because you might get WNBA. I mean, that's part of it for sure. So we can have a crappy NBA team and a WNBA team that no one will even pay to see. Possibly. Nick Sirianni is the best head coach in the NFL. I don't know about that. I mean, Andy Reid probably is the best head coach in the NFL right now, Anthony. But, yeah, I'll be at the WNBA. Yeah, I probably would go to a WNBA game. Probably, especially if Caitlin Clark's there. Nick Sirianni only loses when he buys from Little Caesars. Let's see. Healthy Rams are third best. Injured are at back. I don't fear the Rams. We already took care of them once. Is Nick Sirianni the third best coach in Eagles history? Where does he rank? Well, that's a tough one. Obviously, you got Andy Reid. You got him. You got. I'm not putting them in order, but Andy Reid, Nick Sirianni, Doug Peterson won us a Super Bowl. You can go Dick Vermeil because he got us to our first Super Bowl. We'll say, man, that's I guess you go Reid, Dougie P, Nick Sirianni, Dick Vermeil in that order. Maybe. I mean, his winning percentage is right there at the top. Who watches baseballs? I don't know. Sirianni has caused drama, caused issues, leaked injury reports. Should I keep going? I am entertained by your opinion. Doug Reid, Sirianni has to be right. Does that one Super Bowl get Doug to the number one spot? Actually, it probably does. Yeah, I'm not putting Buddy Ryan. No way. Buddy Ryan's the most overrated Eagles coach of all time, Marshawn. 1,000% the most overrated coach of all time in Philadelphia Eagles history. I have no fond memories other than learning the game of football in that era. I would put Dick Vermeil over Buddy Ryan without a doubt. Certainly not Chip Kelly. I still remember the day Chip Kelly got hired and how disappointed I was. I don't know, someone out there screaming Buddy Ryan. There'll probably be a bunch of, it's the same people that love the Kelly Green, Scotty, that drool over Kelly Green. Love Buddy Ryan. For what? For who? Because he put players in body bags. He was Bounty Bowl before Bounty Bowl was a thing. Buddy Ryan was so mediocre, if you think about it. What's up, Rick? Good morning to you, my man. The Philadelphia Wings still play at the Wells Fargo Center. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, sorry. I don't really get into lacrosse too much, my man. Duck, shout out to you. Some good heat. Right now, Sirianni ranks number 2 in Eagles history. Oh, man. You got him ahead of Andy Reid, I guess. Mahomes, plus the refs cover up a lot of Andy's faults. Yeah, I mean, maybe. The same people that take it this way. You saying that is similar to people saying Jalen Hurts only wins because of the tush push. You know, make it wins are wins, no matter how they happen. And you don't get that many titles without something. Dick Vermeil was before my time. I mean, I was a baby during the Dick Vermeil era, like a legit baby, but he did take the Eagles to their first Super Bowl. Peterson, Sirianni, Reid, Vermillion in that order. I could say short of that, sure. Sirianni cannot be in the top 3. Jeremy, so you're putting who are you putting? You're putting I guess I got to see your follow-up comments to that. The coaching structure is completely different today. That's fair. Coaching in general has evolved throughout the years. I could get behind that comment for sure. So it's tough to compare eras. Sirianni wins the Super Bowl. Does he move ahead of Doug? If he's in even if he gets to 2 Super Bowls in a 3-year span, does he move ahead of Doug Peterson? Look, Scotty, you're not in the chat every day. Duck is a very anti-Nick Sirianni guy. But I think the results are showing it. 4 straight years to the playoffs. I mean, plain and simple. A Super Bowl, maybe a second Super Bowl. If he wins one, you got to put him as the best coach in Eagles history. We're so far behind the fire Nick Sirianni conversation we had like 12 weeks ago. We had to deal with the Chip Kelly, and I almost didn't make it through that, man. I tried to convince myself that Chip Kelly was going to work out. I did, Joe. I really did. And I hated the signing, but I'm like, you know what? I'm stuck with him, so mine as well. Are we getting the Wings back in Philly? I think the Wings are already back in Philly at this point, Duck. Y'all complain about Nick even after winning, like y'all ain't gossip in the office and leak the corporate lunch menu. I love that, Marshawn. Love that. We all saw what happened last year when Sirianni was in charge of real decision-making. I think Nick Sirianni has a lot more decision-making than you realize right now. Sorry, guys. I am congested beyond belief this morning. Is Doug number 1? Doug Peterson's probably. He's the only one with a championship. What, Jeremy? Is Jeremy and Duck like the same person on separate accounts. Herbert, huge game, solidified Chargers playoff spot. Well, they're not in the playoffs, but they are at a 98% likelihood of making it. I personally think Doug is one. Andy is better coach, but didn't win for us. Agreed. Andy Reid is a top 5 coach all time in the history of the NFL with his record, in my opinion, Scotty. Josh Harris hates Philly. That's why Sixers got a new arena. What's up, Tiger? Good morning to you. Look, I'm not a fan of it just because it's going to make it harder for me to get there, but that's about it. Buddy's problem was he let Kotite run the offense, and Richie, the K, wasn't he? Rich Kotite was so bad. Rich Kotite might be the worst coach in Eagles history. The table is set for the AFC playoffs. I don't think so yet. We saw what happened when Jalen was in charge, too. Points at Seahawks game for reference. Sirianni is the best coaching cheerleader. Well, you know what? There's a lot of great coaching cheerleaders out there, okay? And maybe we're going to start seeing a trend in that direction with Campbell and Sirianni's success this year, Jeremy. With Detroit holding on to their, offensive coordinator instead of letting him walk to be a head coach. With the Eagles maybe holding on to Kellen Moore this year. Maybe that's the way maybe that's just the trend going forward. Doug unleashed Philly on us. I mean, Philly unleashing that on us. Winning a Super Bowl with Nick Foles cements you as the greatest coach. Yesterday was the anniversary of the Eagles' first ever championship as they beat the Cardinals 7-0 in 1948. Rick, you're probably the only one in the chat that was alive for that game. Texans versus Chiefs, who you like, Phil? It's in Kansas City. I saw the spread, and I was shocked by the spread. I think the Chiefs win. Looks like Patrick Mahomes will play. Not even on the injury report. Greasy Neal is the number 1 head coach in Eagles history. Who? To the youngins in the back. What's up, Wes, Philly? Birds for the win. Yeah, we haven't really talked much about the game yet today. We've been all over the map with the conversation on the show today. But we do have a game for the NFC East crown on the line this week. I want to throw a little side note into it. I was going through social media as I do every day, getting content for the show. Dallas needs the Eagles to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. And Micah Parsons went out there and said, bleepity no, I'm not rooting for the Eagles to win. I hate the Cowboys or the Eagles. And I love that rivalry aspect. You need us to win to keep your season alive, but you refuse to cheer for them. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Phil, you were a Gus. I mean, I wasn't doing shows back then, Phil, or Marshawn. So I don't know how you know that. Have I said that before on this show? But I was all aboard the Gus bus instead of Chip Kelly. I wanted to, and Gus Bradley, man, he was 100 times worse than Chip Kelly ever was. I get it. Sirianni isn't my favorite, but he wins games. Numbers don't lie. Win-loss records don't lie. No, what? I'm so far behind on comments. Menly, womenly, numbers don't. No, is Billy Davis the worst coordinator in Eagles history? I don't know. Juan Castillo might be the worst. I don't know. Billy Davis right there with Juan Castillo. There is no maybe about it. Kotite is by and far the worst coach that Eagles, at least in my lifetime. I was born in 1980. I mean, Richie Kotite was just atrocious as a coordinator and then a head coach. And go back and find it. It's probably online somewhere. The Great Sports Debate, great show. And years ago, they started replaying them. And watching the panel talk about that all season, whether the Eagles should promote Kotite or not. And it was all the young, all the legends in sports talk radio, much younger back then. And they were all debating. And some of them loved Kotite as the hire. Some of them hated it. It was so funny to watch that back decades later. Parsons knows we will win. Will we win? We are 3.5-point favorites. Commanders have won their last 2 games. The Eagles have won 10 in a row. It's very hard to win 10, 11 games in a row. Will the Eagles win on Sunday, and how will they do it? Me, I don't even care about it. I want them to win. Sure. Let's put that out there. I'm not suggesting they lose. But my number 1 key to Sunday's game against the Commanders, it's not a running attack. It's not a passing attack. It's not defense. It's not a specific player. My number 1 key to Sunday's game, and if this key comes true and we lose, I don't care. My number 1 key to the game is stay healthy. This Eagles team is banged up beyond belief. They got a lot. They don't have any IR guys really outside of Dallas Goedert and James Bradbury. Don't forget about him. but they got a lot of nicks and bangs and bruises, things that could get worse. We're one bad hit away from our season changing drastically. Stay healthy is the number one key on Sunday. Micah Parsons has a better career outlook as a hot take guy. Yeah, he'll be the next guy on First Take, right? Did you just read? I can't see some of. I couldn't see those words. I'm sorry, my man. Did you ever think the Eagles' first Super Bowl would be won by a backup quarterback? No. No, Adam. People often forget that. I mean, Nick Foles is a legend here. He was a backup. Y9 Juan. Yeah, Y9 Juan. Phil, I went to a couple of live tapings of the Great Sports Bay. That's awesome. I never got to see that live taped at all. Is it just me? Tipsy Phil in the PM seems more awake than fresh AM Phil. I am not awake this morning. Not at all. I woke up with the worst Charlie horse. My leg still hurts this morning. I did not get a great night's sleep last night. Phil was a little tipsy the other night when we did a trending in the PM. He was. But we had fun on trending in the PM. We did, didn't we? I mean, I had fun. It didn't surprise me. Philly teams find weird ways to win. That's true. I think that's why, though, I put Doug Peterson so high. I mean, Doug Peterson was an okay coach. But Doug Peterson in 2017, being able to rally the troops behind a back, it would be the same as something, God forbid, something happened to Jalen Hurts. And then Kenny Pickett leads us to a Super Bowl. Like, it'd be the same thing. It really would be. I did not take my gummy while I was on the air, just so you know. I took it after the show. That's why we wrapped up when we wrapped up. People want me to do a gummy infused show. It just won't happen. It just won't happen. Said a big time shout out to your show. Yeah, well, muchas gracias. And I haven't gotten to listen to yesterday's show yet from you, but I will get to it this weekend. I'll have it on at the pizza shop at some point in time, as I always do, Rick. So fantastic work. Jaden Daniels, much better than Hurts. What? Stop it. You know, I see people saying this. There's still people out there that claim that Jaden Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts. I think it's a load of hunky-dory bull crap baloney. It's just stupid that a guy on his, what's he played, 13 games? He's not better than Jalen Hurts. Will he be better than Jalen Hurts? Maybe. Maybe someday he will be. But there ain't no way, in no scenario, that I'm taking Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts at this point. None whatsoever. Lots of craft beers and yesterday. So me too. Except I subbed the beers for white wine yesterday. Gummy pizza, no thank you. I could drink and ramble about an Eagles roster all day. Yeah, we could. We could do that all day long. Shout out. If Phil does a gummy infused show, it will be 45 minutes of great sports talk and then 2 hours of watching him sleep. Yes. I will literally be like that. That's me when I'm on the gummies. Jaden throws dimes all over the field. Does he? I mean, you're not supposed to be throwing dimes. You're supposed to be throwing footballs. I don't know why he does that. Big Al, what's up? I've missed you this week. Jaden Daniels, better than Hurts narratives, mind-boggling. Big Al, like I get it. He's a young, hot rookie quarterback. Everybody's in love with him. But what in the holy hell is wrong with people saying that? Like, I just don't get it. People were saying that after 3 games. 3 games they were saying that. It's ridiculous. They're 9-5. Great. Whoop-de-doo. He's not even a top 10 quarterback probably in the NFL at this point. Not even. And it's kind of annoying that I even have to defend that narrative right there. Jalen Hurts is the most accurate quarterback in the NFL this year. He is first in completion percentage over expected. Yeah. I think just straight completion percentage, Jaden Daniels is slightly a little bit higher than him. But yeah, Hurts will beat the Commanders every time they play. Well, maybe not every time ever, but yeah, look, I'm confident in the Eagles winning on Sunday. I am. I think the Eagles will continue their winning ways. I think just as much as this game isn't like the most important game in the Eagles season, it's also not for Washington either. They could still win their playoff spot in the next 2 weeks. So I think there's a lot of looking ahead from this game from both teams. I think Nick Sirianni's coaching will keep this team together. I think Nick Sirianni's, ability to have these guys focused on the task at hand and not looking forward will win this game for them. I think we're going to see a very conservative game plan this week. I will throw this out there. What would you like the Eagles to do with Saquon Barkley? Saquon Barkley fell behind the pace to break Eric Dickerson's record. He did rush for 148 yards the last time we faced Washington. And Washington's defense against the run, it's pretty bad. They're the 25th ranked rush defense in football. So do you want to see the Eagles give Saquon Barkley 25 touches, say? So he has a chance to get to 150, 160 yards or whatever, and get back on track? Or do you want to see them limit Saquon Barkley to 12 to 15 carries, give Kenny Gainwell 8 to 10, 11 carries, and kind of start protecting Saquon's legs for the playoff Super Bowl run? Jaden Hurts, what? Commanders running back Brian Robinson talking a bunch of shit. Absolutely. Bulletin board. See, the thing is, it is bulletin board material. That's stupid of Brian Robinson Jr. But on the flip side, do the Eagles even need bulletin board material? Does Nick Sirianni have this team in a position mentally where it's not even necessary to get them ready for a game to have that bulletin board material? He's got that same swagger. Wouldn't call him better. We saw how Jaden Daniels looked when he came to Philly. He looked like a real rookie quarterback. Yeah. Only weapon be scary Terry McLaurin. Look, and Terry McLaurin, I see a lot of big names out there in the media and Washington media. Terry McLaurin's going to go nuts on the Eagles this game. Why would people think that? I mean, nobody's gone nuts on this Eagles defense in the passing game. They're the number one pass defense in football. Scary Terry McLaurin had one catch the last time we faced them. Don't look like Zach Ertz is going to play. There's no world where I could predict. Could he go off on us? Yeah, sure. He's an elite wide receiver. But anybody that's predicting Terry McLaurin to go off on Sunday isn't looking at what the Eagles do on a regular basis. In a draft, the commies will be dangerous. In a draft, I don't even entertain that as a real narrative. Well, that's good. I'm glad you don't. The Commanders don't find the end zone Sunday. Wow, that's bold. It's a bold prediction, Joe. No scores. I mean, Washington's offense is the fifth best offense in football. And they do put up a lot of points. They average over 28 points a game. That's tough. The only downside is the Eagles don't give up 20 points a game. So that's where you got to find the common ground. Victory Fangio going to shut down Jaden Daniels. Fangio going to confuse the shit out of Daniels with lots of exotic looks and well-schemed blitzes. I mean, I hope so. I feel so. I want to see Barkley go. You want to see him go for the rushing. The title or the record? He's going to get the rushing title. So you want him to get the record. It's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it because I know this team needs Saquon 100% for the playoffs. But also, how many times do you have the opportunity to break a record like Eric Dickerson's 2,100 yards? I mean, it's a catch-22 right there. Barkley doesn't care about records. He just wants a Super Bowl. I get that too. And he says the right things. I wonder if in private he says or thinks to himself he wants it. Be interesting. 15 for Barkley, 15 for Gainwell. Oh, and let's throw in 4 for Shipley as well. Why not? Why not? Yeah, I'd be limiting Barkley to about 15 touches on Sunday. That's just me. I want him to get the record, or maybe I play it by ear. And if he gets his first 12 or 13 touches and he's got 100 yards, and all right, if we push him a little harder, he can get to 150. See how the game plays out, maybe. Washington's greatest pleasure would be using the bathroom in our hoodies. What? You don't know a quarterback until at least year 3, typically. Yeah. Anybody, and I think that's a bigger, bold picture problem, that we put too much pressure on rookie quarterbacks as a whole, as fan bases and as teams and as organizations. Way too much pressure for quarterbacks to succeed way too quickly in the NFL. And then you put these ungodly expectations on them when they have 1 or 2 good games that they can't keep up with or live up to. No, Adam, scary Terry McLaurin is still a really good wide receiver. He's still damn fine receiver this year. Okay, I'm going to say something nice about Sirianni. He doesn't go to the neg to get his team psyched for a game. He will show exciting game footage. Yeah, he doesn't use negativity at all. He doesn't use bulletin board material. Yeah, absolutely less than 5 catches. Will he be held to 1 catch for 10 yards? Probably not. But he could probably get to 3 or 4 catches. Joe's saying only field goals. I love it. I find it hard to foresee that way, but I love it. The only person thinking Scary Terry goes off is Mrs. McLaurin, maybe. Now, I saw quite a couple Washington networks, Commanders networks, and I saw some national media people saying it. Yeah, Terry is having a great season this year. But he gets strapped this weekend. I think we beat them better than we did the first time. We beat them 26-18 4 or 5 weeks ago, whatever it was. I don't think people realize, because they're not getting interceptions, Scotty, how elite the secondary of the Eagles is playing this year. Just think about it. 173 passing yards a game they're only giving up. That is insane, that number. Quinion Mitchell, because he does, I've said it a few times over the last week or so. Quinion Mitchell probably will win Defensive Rookie of the Year. But in my mind, he should be in the top 10 voting for Defensive Player of the Year. In my mind, he should be an All-Pro 1 or 2 this year. He is having a phenomenal season as a rookie, like beyond phenomenal. And people don't give him credit for it because he doesn't have interceptions. Because they never throw the ball his way because he's so damn good. Cooper DeJean had 1 or 2 hiccups lately, but been very good. Darius Slay quietly having a pretty damn elite season as the second oldest starting cornerback in the NFL. The secondary of the Eagles, man, I don't think the national attention is going there enough. They're talking about Jalen Carter. They're talking about Zach Bond. They're not talking about the secondary. They're not talking about Nakobe Dean, who's having a hell of a season. Man. Record. What's up, Bruce Bryce Harper? Good morning to you. We got everything. Phillies, Eagles, Sixers on the agenda today, Bruce. Barkley deserves a chance at half, and the only way for his to get even on the radar after playing Giants, he would need this. Yeah. Look. Phil, I feel Saquon would like to break the record as he is very close. The last game, he kind of fell behind a little bit, the pace he needed. But I think it would be nice. If he could do it, and I guarantee he's not hurt by the playoffs, sure. I'm all for it. I just worry this week about injuries. Last week, you had Landon Dickerson, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley. You had a lot of guys getting dinged up. And dinged up is a worry. Should be up to Saquon, to be honest. But if playing for the 1 seed you got, and that's the other thing. You go for the record because that you're also going for the 1 seed. You're not resting guys too much if you're trying to get that 1 seed, for sure. Phil, wait for the rest of the comment to come through. Like Barry Sanders, who left him MVP awards at Friendships Apartments to pick them up. Hurts versus Daniels. Hurts has more touchdown passes, higher QBR, fewer interceptions, higher yards. Look, you don't got to sell me, Anthony. You got to sell other people on that. We need a Dotson touchdown against his old team in their stadium. That shithole of a stadium. You got to put that, retype that up, Adam, with that their shithole of a stadium. Phil, I feel Daniels is good, but not the best rookie quarterback this year. That's an interesting comment from you, Bruce. I mean, Bo Nix, I said around the draft time that unfortunately J.J. McCarthy got hurt. I said the Bo Nixes, the 4th, 5th, 6th quarterbacks taken in the draft would be better quarterbacks than the first few, the Daniels, the Drake Mays of the world, Caleb Williams. I was so spot on Caleb Williams' rookie season, being a train wreck. So you might be onto something here, Bruce, with this. That Daniels isn't even the best rookie quarterback this year. Sucks Bo Nix will take Rookie of the Year. Why does it suck? I mean, I don't know. Bo Nix is playing out of his mind with Denver this year, especially on your former team. Can he do it on the Giants? The rushing record, in all honesty, is meaningless. It is, but it also means something. Happy Friday morning to my main man, Stevie Fuentes. Jane Daniels ain't doing nothing Sunday. Eagles win big, 27-13. I think that was one of the scores I wrote down. No, I wrote down 24-13 as one of the potential. Saquon should be held to 20 or under on the carries. Maybe. A little cope from 12 today. Eagles 27-16. I like that score, 27-16. That's not one I wrote down, but I like that, actually. I do like that a lot. Eagles 27-14. A lot of people, I find it hard to believe that the Commanders could score more than 20 points. Max is 20. Remember this, the Eagles have only given up more than 20 points 4 times. Jacksonville week 9 was the last time, and that was only 23 with a garbage time touchdown. So anybody that thinks the Commanders are going to put up 25, 30, 40 points, and I see the random statements like that on Twitter all the time. Eagles need to get Super Bowl ready this week. They will stomp them. Let's go. Let's get it on, Joe. On the Washington people, the Washington people think the Commanders are going off. That's like a ski GA chef. If the food is good at his restaurant, the national people say shit to stir people up. Okay. Now, if Commanders had Adam Thielen, I'd be worried. Yeah, look. I mean, the Panthers gave you a scenario, a way to beat the Eagles is to line your like lining up Scary Terry in the slot. You know, would be an option if I was the Commanders' offense coordinator to see if Cooper DeJean has learned from his mistakes covering Adam Thielen. Thielen. Now, I always add a D at the end of Thielen. It's Thielen. Sorry, Marshawn, you missed that pronunciation wrong. That's what I would be doing if I was an offense coordinator. I'd be testing Cooper DeJean like that. Ruben Frank said the Eagles can become the first team to finish #1 in defense with 0 interceptions by their starting quarterbacks. Yeah, it's possible. It's kind of crazy, Anthony. It really, really, truly is. It's kind of, but it just goes to show how great they are. Scotty, I see your comment here, and I know you're a little younger than me. Most balanced defense I may have ever seen us have in my era. I've been talking about it off and on all week this week, Scotty, and I've gotten a lot of blowback in the positive and the negative that I am actually considering, depending on how the season plays out. I will probably rank, if it plays out the way I think, with us finishing 14-3, 15-2, making a deep playoff run. I will say it right now. I said it already, Scotty. This is better. It's before your time. The 1991 Eagles defense. I know everyone loves the 1991 defense. I do. I know they had elite superstar players. But this defense is actually putting up better numbers as a team than that defense. Yeah, they don't have a Reggie White. They have a Reggie White that might become a Reggie White. They don't have a set joiner. They have somebody that might become a set joiner. They don't have an Eric Allen. Well, they do have an Eric Allen. They have someone better than Eric Allen and Quinion Mitchell. So I'm just telling you, this Eagles defense is shaping up to be the best Eagles defense in the modern era, in my opinion. We need to send a message to the Bills. Yeah, that's right. The defense has had a lot of almost interceptions. Last year was almost sacks, Adam. This year, it's almost interceptions. Josh Allen going to score 20 touchdowns versus Patriots. I'm taking the Patriots in the points. Last I looked, I think the Patriots were 14-point dogs. I'll take 14 points in a division game. Maybe since B-Doc era, but y'all would know better than me. Like some of those defenses in the B-Doc era were great, but none of them were the #1 overall team. This is the first team. I did the research. I forget what it was, 1980, 1981. The first time the Eagles are #1 defense in yards and points per game since 1981. Even the 91 defense, Scotty, was 5th in points. They gave up over 20 points like 6 times that year. Their problem was that their offense stunk that year. That's why they were 10-6. Shithole of a stadium in there. Thank you for editing that for me. Yes, I feel Nix is the best quarterback this year. I mean, it's crazy. Not many people would have thought that. You had Bo Nix last night. What? Fantasy football, maybe? Dickerson, the kicker with fair catch field goals in yesterday's game. Yeah, like, honestly, I saw that this morning, Rick, on my timeline. Didn't even know that was a rule, Rick. Did not know that rule existed. I'll be honest with you. Had no clue about the fair catch field goal, free kick rule. And I bet you half the team didn't even know about it. Saquon always said that he wants to be one of the greatest when he leaves the game. I'm sure deep down he's chomping at the bit to get the record or close to it. Absolutely. Yeah. I'd be curious what's going on the inside with him for sure. That's why I'm optimistic about the team, Adam. They're playing so well and can play even better. honestly, you're right on that, Judd. This Eagles team can play better than they already are. They're not even fully at full capacity yet. Anyone see Josh Allen no look past Tutty? Nobody in the chat gives a crap about the Bills till the potential Super Bowl matchup. To be brutally honest with you, Mad Chatter. Bo, great find. Yeah, I said he was going to be one of the guys that were better. 30-16 Eagles is Ducks prediction. I do have one prediction written down with a 30 score for the Eagles. Eagles win 28-19, Rick says. It's another score I could see happening. Yes, very Mahomes-like. Mitchy Pooh, good morning to you. Lost my pen. Got to find a new pen. Always have a second pen. Make sure, guys, for Mitchy Pooh, we hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that share button. Please, we started the show at 309 subscribers. Don't know if we gained any more. The march to 500 probably will not happen by the end of the year, but we're still going to push hard for it over the next week or so. I mean, we're 11 days away from the end of the year, guys. The year's almost over. So for Mitchy Pooh's sake, please hit that like button and subscribe button and share button for me. Greatly, greatly appreciate it, guys. Cooper DeJean could only torment it like that by a fellow exciting white. Terry would get strapped. Gotcha, Scotty. Isaiah Rodgers have an interception this Eagles. I don't know who has the interceptions for the Eagles, but Reed Blankenship's got a couple. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has one or two. They only have like 4 or 5 interceptions this season. It's kind of crazy how few they have. Thielen with Devontae and would be fired. I don't know what that means. We have elite play at every level on the defense. We do. And there's so many guys on the Eagles defense, Scotty, that aren't getting the recognition they deserve. I know everybody hates Elliott Shore-Park and, his Deshaun Jackson situation. Still not addressed, whatever. But he put out a thread last night, this morning. I saw it this morning, putting out the numbers for Nakobe Dean because Nakobe Dean is not getting the respect he deserves because he's playing at a pretty elite level right now. You got Nakobe Dean that doesn't get credit. Milton Williams doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Nolan Smith's just turning the corner, but whatever. We're not getting the credit for Darius Slay. Darius Slay's been locked down. And because of Quinyanamo Bay in lockdown mode, we don't hear about Darius Slay. They play at such a high level all over the place. If the Eagles draft a good edge, I'm complaining to the league. The Bud Carson defenses, people forget, you got to be older like me and you, Anthony, to remember the Bud Carson era. Bud Carson was a damn fine defensive coordinator. Bo Nix does look good. And I said it, Bo Nix. I said Bo Nix and J.J. McCarthy. I didn't foresee J.J. McCarthy get hurt before the season started. I thought they were going to be the 2 top quarterbacks as rookies this year. Fantasy football, Bo Nix. Gotcha. What happened with fair catch? So if you fair catch a ball, a punt, you can elect as a team to take a field goal without the defense playing defense from wherever you fair catched it. So if you catch the ball on the 50-yard line, you can take a 60-yard field goal from there without anybody trying to block the kick. I didn't know it was a rule. And they kicked a 57-yard field goal by doing that. Never heard of the rule before, but I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Going Eagles 40 to Commander 17, Adam. Love the positivity, but I don't see the Eagles scoring 40 points. The Eagles are not that high scoring of a team. And Washington's defense, they give up 22.5 points per game on average. Means I haven't gained a single new subscriber today. I find it hard to believe that there's not one of the 20 people watching the YouTube room right now hasn't hit that subscribe button yet. There is old, like 1800s old school rule where you could kick the field goal after a foul. Yeah, it's literally that old. Yeah. Who knew? I bet you half the players on the game last night didn't even know that rule existed. Dean and Nakobe and Nolan Smith isn't getting the credit they deserve. Agreed. 1,000%. And Slay has been very good. Absolutely. Brian O'Rourke predicting 28-16 Eagles. Just flipping it. It was 26-18 last game, so he's going 28-16. I like it. Brian, what do you think of the new stadium as a Sixers fan? The new stadium being approved down there in Center City. What's up, James? Go Birds. Phil, Allen, most electrifying player in sports. The most electrifying man in sports entertainment today. Is he the people's champion, Josh Allen? 44-9 Eagles. D scores 14 points. Whoa. Man, we're going out with some bold predictions. There is some some crazy juice flowing to some of these Eagles fans here today. I didn't know until I looked it up after I saw that and went, yeah, like I saw it this morning and I had to Google. I'm like, is this a real account, like sharing this information? Like, I didn't even know. Never heard of it, Duck. It's a crazy rule. When Huff returns and Smith's playing very well, would you maintain Smith as your starter and use Huff? Yeah, so Bryce Huff practiced limitedly yesterday. His practice window was open. Nick Sirianni said, I believe on Wednesday, talking about Bryce Huff, that he's a great player and he's confident he'll be back, but he's not sure when. So I don't even know if Bryce Huff comes back this week. Vic Fangio said he really does like his small three-man rotation at edge rusher. So I foresee them sticking with the main three guys of Huff or of Smith, Sweat, Alex Hunt, and then they'll just mix in Bryce Huff a little bit in passing situations. It can't hurt to have the extra body there, for sure. But I don't expect Bryce Huff to get back to playing 30 snaps or anything when he returns. Is Jalen Carter not getting enough hype? And I think it's a question for how great he's playing. I think Jalen Carter should be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. At the very least, he should be top 3 Defensive Player of the Year. The stats, the basic stats, don't jump off the page, but the analytics do. And Jalen Carter might be the most dominant defensive tackle in football right now. And I don't think 80% of football even knows who Jalen Carter is. And I think that's probably an embarrassment. Explain, if I catch a punt and fair catch it, why couldn't I pass, run, or kick? No, so if you fair catch it, you can choose to line up and kick a field goal from that spot. That's all the rule is. Blankenship stinks. We don't even know if Blankenship's going to play this week. He's still on the concussion protocol. He did practice limitedly yesterday on the practice report, which means he's trending towards getting cleared. Look, I think if anything, Reed Blankenship is the weak link on our defense. Not saying that's in a bad way or anything like that, but Reed Blankenship is probably the weak link on this defense. And it is what it is. When Huff comes back, he will be rotated through just because he's coming off an injury. Yeah, he'll be rotated in, but very lightly. Like last game, Nolan Smith played like 41 of 43 snaps. Maybe Bryce Huff would steal 2 or 3 of those. Maybe he'd steal 2 or 3 snaps from Josh Sweat. Maybe 2 or 3 from Alex Hunt. Alex Hunt's actually performed pretty well in a limited role the last couple of weeks. He helps hold the edge on run plays. He gets into the backfield from time to time. Bryce Huff's a guy that's going to play 10 snaps a game once he's back fully healed from his injury. I wouldn't expect much more than that. But it can't hurt to get him worked back in because then come playoff time, you might need him. You might need him week 18 to give Nolan Smith a breather. Remember when Nolan Smith, let's go back to this first. Remember when Nolan Smith still was playing in the fourth quarter of preseason games at the start of this year? Like, we didn't know what Nolan Smith's role was going to even be on this team because they were still playing him with the third stringers in preseason games. And now Nolan Smith, arguably our best defensive end edge rusher on this football team. We've come a long way from August when it comes to Nolan Smith. No, Blank Man doesn't stink, but he's overhyped. Yeah, he doesn't stink. He's overhyped. Absolutely agree with you on that. He's an okay safety. I don't think he's me saying he's the weak link is not a bad thing. It just means we've got an elite defense, and he's the least elite of the starters. Georgia boys won a national championship together, and imagine possibly winning a Super Bowl together. Would that be? I'm just trying to think about it. We have what? Carter Davis, Jacoby Dean are all our Georgia guys, and would there ever be that many guys that won a championship in college play for the same team to win a Super Bowl for the same team? That would probably be a first. Yeah, I think that's a great way to say it. He's just a complimentary player. He makes mistakes, but he also plays pretty well from time to time. He's just a little inconsistent, in my opinion. A little too boomer bust for me. Help me understand. Why couldn't you kick from fair catch if it's close enough? No, that's what they did. They're saying when you fair catch, if you want to attempt a field goal, if you feel it's in your kicker's range, you can. The defense isn't even allowed to play defense on the kick. It's like a free throw. Nolan looks like a Pro Bowler. He's not going to be a Pro Bowler because he didn't turn it on until too late in the season. But Nolan Smith is turning into a Pro Bowler right before our eyes. And I think Nolan Smith, the way he's been playing the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, Nolan Smith has double-digit sack potential in him going forward. Right. Is Blankenship another Nathan Geary or Alex Singleton? Maybe. You might be onto something there. I mean, different positions, but yeah. The wrinkle is they could kick the field goal with being yeah. It's crazy that the Georgia football staff found half RD. It is. At the same time, say you play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, for example. You have their tight end group versus Reed Blankenship. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I would say, with what's his name? Gray. Is that the other tight end? And Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey's not the same this year. But I would say you would probably have a combination of Reed Blankenship and Nakobe Dean. And Nakobe Dean's been in coverage and covered, I think he's had 40-some targets against him this year. He's actually doing pretty solid in coverage. Week 1, 2, 3, he was struggling with it. But as the season went on, he's gotten better in coverage against tight ends. So Nakobe Dean would be part of that. Zach Bond would be a part of that coverage as well. Cooper DeJean would be a part of that coverage of the tight ends as well. Almost. Sometimes I'm paying attention to the words on the screen before I read them. Not always, but sometimes. Things are moving slow for me this morning. So when things move slow, I slow down a little bit. I caught myself beforehand. But guys, we're at the hour mark. Got about 25, 30 minutes left of the show today. So please, you're watching Training the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Setting the trends for what sports talk should be, guys. Please hit that like button. Please hit that share button. And, of course, as always, hit that subscribe button. Guys, I'd greatly appreciate it. How many people are watching? We got 52 people watching right now, 15 on YouTube, 37 on Twitter. Guys, greatly appreciate any and all support as we finish up this show today. I got it. I like that rule. It's a weird rule. It just came out of nowhere. So we're talking Eagles. We're talking Commanders, obviously, guys. We're talking predictions. Most of you giving it. I'm still waiting on my prediction. I'm going to hold out a little longer on my prediction. We're talking Sixers Stadium. Some people have given their opinions. If you want to give your opinion on the stadium, go ahead. And, of course, the Phillies signing Max Kepler to a 1-year, $10 million deal to be, I don't know, their left fielder, their right fielder, I don't know. So that is also on the agenda. If that's the big move from Dave Dombrowski, I think we're in for some trouble. And Dave Dombrowski, I've said it earlier this year, is a Hall of Fame executive, Hall of Fame level executive. He has won championships. He's built championship teams. But he's not a Hall of Fame executive in Philadelphia. Like when we had Pat Gillick, he was a Hall of Fame executive with the Blue Jays, came to Philly, and built a Hall of Fame team here, or a championship team here. The same didn't happen with Dave Dombrowski. And I think Dave Dombrowski is failing this Philadelphia city and Philadelphia team. Monday's show is on Festivus. The Festivus and the airing of grievances. Let me tell you something. Monday, I am going to air my grievances. And I guarantee you, Dave Dombrowski will be on my list of grievances. What's up, Eric? The gatekeeper is here. Good morning to you. Smash that like button for Eric. They are going to trade Nick Castellanos. I mean, it makes sense, Anthony, because Castellanos hasn't played left field. He played one game his first year in Philly, and then he hasn't since before that. Kepler only plays right field as well. So you got 2 right fielders now on this team. I don't know what you do. Is there any limit on kicking field goals after a fair catch? No, you can kick it from as far back as you want. So in theory, you could kick an 80-yard field goal if you wanted to try. I don't know why they would, but you could. That's part of the greatness of Howie. He adapts and figures. He doesn't have to be the smartest guy in the room. And there's a reason why others use a process selecting the oblivious. What was Joe's last comment? It's crazy that Georgia football state. Oh, gotcha. Look, there was a time. I still give Ed Kratz full credit from Sports Illustrated, Eagles beat reporter, been on this show many a times. I give Ed all the credit for Howie Roseman becoming a great drafter of Georgia talent. and top-level talent. Because before that draft, it was Ed that asked Howie Roseman why he doesn't draft from big schools like Georgia and Alabama. And then instantly, right after that interview, the draft happened, and all of a sudden, since then, top-level players get drafted at every position in the early rounds from elite schools. No more reaches for TCU wide receivers. No more reaches for Marcus Smiths or anything like that. No. We stick to the winning schools and winning programs. Ravens versus Steelers. I kind of want the Ravens to win that game, in my opinion. Something rubbed me the wrong way from the Steelers. I just want to see the Steelers fall apart. Steelers fans just really annoy me. You want it, you got it, Georgie. Why would you drive for a touchdown instead of a field goal? Well, it's more of, it depends on the time of the game. There was very limited time left in the game. They weren't going to score. You might as well kick the field goal. How do you obvious as oblivious? What did I miss something? Sorry. So I've gotten some things right, some things wrong today. Well, it's obvious to do what the Bengals did and take players from the same college. The Bengals did it first. Yeah. Good morning, Todd. Hope you're doing well this morning and this weekend. Then we got Hurts and Devontae because the Eagles got Burrow and Chase. Or the Bengals got Burrow and Chase. I don't know. The 80s girl band was drafting. Anyway. So, do we want to give a prediction here on the score yet? Do we want to keep going with the comments as they continue to flow in? I'm not sure. What are my thoughts on the NBA ratings dropping, Todd? I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's a combination of a lot of injured players this year missing a lot of games. I think it's a combination of them not controlling the flopping. I think it's a combination of the style of the NBA that now is played, where it's just 3-point shots and whatnot. I think it's a combination of a lot. And I think it's going to come down to the point where the NBA is probably going to have to restructure the way they do business with their salary cap and with their contracts, so that, teams can build better teams and keep players better in their cities. Just the product's just boring anymore. And yeah, Joel Embiid in the Sixers situation is causing me to watch less. But hell, the NBA Cup, to me, is a big reason why the ratings dropped. Because around the NBA Cup, once your team's eliminated, we've had like 2 basketball games in our city over the last week and a half. Because the way the NBA Cup was structured, it's just, I don't know. I also don't think they market their stars well enough. LeBron James is the most marketable star in the NBA, obviously, right? But LeBron James pushing 40 years old, and he's still the most marketable. He's still one of the best players and most athletic players. But you got young players like Anthony Edwards, SGA, any of the young guys that are really great players, but they don't market their young stars to become superstars. I think that's it. They got to find a young superstar that they can market and put his face everywhere and make him the face of the NBA. And they don't have it. They don't have a face of the NBA to take over for LeBron, to take over for Seth Curry, or Steph Curry. You know what I meant. They put out a crap product. Absolutely. Haven't heard any chatter about Jordan Davis, which could be a good thing. I think Jordan Davis, in a limited role, has played a lot better than people realize. Brought up the conversation this week, Jose. Would you rather keep Milton Williams or Jordan Davis? Big picture. And I think most people would say Milton Williams, but Jordan Davis, in a limited number of snaps, is pretty damn dominant. The Cowboys wanted Hurts to go with CD, but they forgot that. I don't even remember hearing that one. Who's the biggest flopper in the NBA? I don't know. Trae Young, maybe? Jalen Brunson? There's a lot of them. Impossible to watch games. Then the games you can watch are unwatchable with the fouls and the pacing. The pacing, Judd. Absolutely on that. Phil, I hate the NBA Cup so much. It's such a disruption to the regular season. It really is, Anthony. Like, let me go here to ESPN. I'm on the Eagles page, but let me go to NBA here. I want to look at the Sixers schedule here really quickly. Where's the Sixers schedule? There it is. So they play tonight. Their last game. So since Sunday, December 8th, so over about a 2-week stretch, they've played 3 games. That's bad. That's how can you stay motivated to support your team that's already struggling when you got 3 games over 2 weeks? Like, it's not the NFL. Brunson probably the biggest flopper, yeah. And the most annoying one as well. Todd, we've discussed this. It's a catch-22. I'd like to see Saquon get it. And if you're playing for the number 1 seed, you play your best players till you get that number 1 seed. But on the flip side, you want a healthy Saquon Barkley for the playoffs. I think you play it by ear as the game goes on. If it's a close game, you keep playing him. If it's a blowout, you rest him. If he's having a lot of success, you push him a little further. If he's having no success like last week, then you just rest him. I think there's a lot of in the game flow to determine, Todd, how hard you push him to go for that record. Everyone will say the record doesn't matter, but deep down inside, I think the record does matter, for sure. Big Al says college ball is so much better. I mean, I used to be a big college basketball fan. Then all the conference realignments happened, added extra rounds to the NCAA March Madness. I've definitely fallen off the wagon of being a college ball watcher. But yeah, the game is probably better than the pros. Yeah, no one remembers that the Cowboys won Hurts, so the Eagles got Hurts early. Hurts' favorite wide receiver in college was CD. The NBA Cup nonsense bastardizes their actual championship. Their league is becoming a face of itself. It's why their ratings are plummeting. There's so many reasons that their ratings are plummeting. And let's just be honest. Like, I was talking about this earlier. Basketball or baseball. They both have some bad things happening. Baseball with contracts getting out of hand. Basketball with ratings dropping. I can foresee the next time their union agreements are up, baseball and basketball having to go in striker lockout mode and restructuring the way they do business. Not because they're losing money, but because the products are suffering from the way they're doing business. And TV ratings are number one. Most important thing in all sports is not wins and losses. It's not championships. The number one thing in sports is TV contracts. And the way they distribute the money from those contracts. So things are going to change. If ratings keep continuing to go down, basketball's cruising for an issue, for sure. The Cowboys and the Eagles had the same idea. What should be the game plan for the Commanders this weekend? The game plan should be simplified. I don't need to force feed Jalen Hurts to AJ Brown. I don't need to feed the ball to Saquon Barkley. I just need a simple game plan, simple, not complicated offense. Keep everybody healthy should be the number one part of the game plan, and let the defense do what they're going to do, which is dominate. So win that time of possession, run the ball, long drives. Let the defense go out there and dominate. Send another message, 11 wins in a row. Lock up that NFC East. There's no set game plan where you got to run XYZ plays over and over again, attack this or that. No, simple. It's a simple game plan to beat a team like Washington. Number one seed won't be determined until the final game, which Detroit and Minnesota are in the same position. Absolutely agree. So do you go for the number one seed? I say you do. Hurts would have been crap in Dallas because they have no O-line. Yeah, absolutely. And he wouldn't even have started because Dak was there. The rushing record or Super Bowl championship, which one is more important? Obviously the Super Bowl. And I think everybody realizes that. I do. Spread the ball out. Yeah, I mean, spread it around. Don't force anything. Protect your banged up players. All things that should be in the thing. Embrace your inner mummer. Do we have to get back into how much I hate the mummers again today? I mean, really, K1? Really? I mean, you come in an hour and 10 minutes in this show and you drop a mummers comment just to trigger my hatred for the mummers. And I don't even have hatred for the mummers. I just don't find any appeal to it. I don't understand it. I don't understand why people like it. The Commanders said they will beat the Eagles on Sunday. The Commanders say a lot of things. Well, I'm just going to tell them they're wrong. They're not going to win. Plain and simple. Dombrowski needs to get off of his hands and make a couple of big moves. Next, Kepler's another Brandon Marsh. I don't even know if he's a Brandon Marsh. Nice sign. I don't even know if he's a nice signing. If we get 2023 max, sure. If we get 2024 max, you might as well have just kept Austin Hayes at that point. Somebody said earlier, it might lead to the trade of Nick Castellanos, which whatever, depends on what you get for him. Dave Dombrowski's failing, and I'm telling you, the Festivus airing the grievances on Monday. Dave Dombrowski is going to be on that list for sure. Those golden slippers. Aggressively disinterested in the mummers. That shit is off-putting. There's a lot of racists in that are mummers as well. I just never got it. You know, Al's saying he's so over the mummers. I was never into the mummers to begin with. To be in it. You know, I remember I've been to a couple weddings, some big over-the-top weddings. I have some friends in well-to-do circles with some big-time connections. I've been to several weddings where they had the mummers come out and do a dance at the wedding. And even then, I'm like, all right, while you guys are watching that, I'm going to go get a drink at the bar. Like, it just does nothing for me. Literally nothing. The problem is the Eagles have a bad habit of playing small to losing or lesser teams and playing tall against the strong teams. Yeah. I think the Commanders are still a good football team. I don't think they'd be playing down to the Commanders because I think they're pretty good. Jason Kelce was the best mummer. Jason Kelce is overexposed to me, so whatever. Kelce put the mum in mummers. Is that right? Get rid of the mummers. That's fine by me, Rick. I don't think I've ever watched more than a minute or two at a time of it. Eagles will get on the bus, whip Commanders' ass on Sunday, get back on the bus, and call it a day, 28-17. I like it. I got a much closer score, guys, that I'm going with on Sunday than a lot of you. I think the Eagles will win on Sunday. A much closer score. Moving Nick is more about getting his salary off the books rather than getting anything back. Maybe. They are right up against the next tax apron. Anthony, maybe it's the third tax apron. I don't know. But I did read that the Kepler signing puts them only $5 million under the next luxury tax apron, which really gives them no flexibility to sign many more players unless they want to hit that tax threshold. So you got to move somebody's contract. I guess Nick Castellanos would be be one of them. Trying to find a way to get off of Tylan Walker's contract would be a huge win for the salary, or not the salary cap, the luxury tax threshold. But yeah, they're the two big contracts. Eagles execute their game plan against everybody they play. Doesn't matter if they're playing a good team or a bad team. Eagles are just looking to go right through teams and impose their will. I agree with that, Rick. I do. I see this game playing out a little different, though. I do see it being a close game. I wrote down 4 scores. One of them was an Eagles loss. Just going to say that. But first thing I wrote down and I was zoning in on was 24-13. Then I really looked at Washington, and they are playing really good football right now. Their last 2 games. They're running the football really well. I settled in on 24-20. The Eagles will win. And I think it will be 24-13. And then I'm like, you know what? I think Washington is going to have a chance. The Eagles have multiple times this year given up touchdowns in garbage time. So I see the game playing out where there's 2 minutes left in the game. Eagles are up 24-13. Washington gets the ball, marches down, and scores a touchdown to get it to 24-20. And then the Eagles don't let them get the ball back in whatever scenario. So that's how I see it. I see 24-20, which still covers the spread. Then explain the Jag and Panthers. The Jaguars game was a little bit bigger of a win than people realize. They scored a touchdown late in the game. The Panthers, that was just playing down to the competition for sure. Commanders are food for the Eagles. I think people are sleeping on the Commanders, guys. Luxury tax doesn't matter. The Phillies are making money hand over fist. Money is not an issue. Yeah. That third threshold, I forget what it all is. I don't know. I think even a billionaire like John Middleton is questionable on spending that level of money. But we'll see. What? Big Al's the man. Why would you say something like that about Big Al? Washington is not good. They nearly lost to the Saints. We nearly lost to the Panthers. Everybody nearly loses some bad team at some point. The Chiefs nearly lost to the Panthers. So you could say the Buffalo lost already to the Rams. So I don't like that thread. I don't like that comment. Nearly lost to a team. They didn't lose. So that's just that in my mind. 31-17 Birds. See, everybody always keeps picking 31, 35, 40 points for the Eagles. The Eagles don't put up that big a number that often. If the Saints coach was not a knucklehead, they would have lost or at least tied. Maybe. You never know, but they didn't. Phil looked at the line before making that prediction. No, I don't bet the Eagles very often. The only time I really bet the Eagles is if I really feel strongly about a line and I'll put it in a parlay. But I would never straight up bet the Eagles. The Phillies cheaped out for tons and tons of years and penny pinched. They owe us now. Spend some more. Hey, look, Rick, that ain't my money. I'm fine with them spend. Like, I absolutely. Some of the guys that have gotten signed this offseason, I would have signed them. I would make the big, bold trades. I do. I'm all in. The Phillies had a window, and that window is closing fast. And if they don't make a big move right now soon, this window is going to shut on the Phillies. 30-7 Birds, K1 says. Another big one. Only 7. You only see them, K1, scoring one touchdown, and that's it? No other scores? Like, I know our defense is elite, but Washington's offense puts up points, 28.3 points per game. I know we're the best defense going up against the 6th best offense. I find it hard to believe that. Weren't they playing good football before they played us the first time? That's true, Jose. Fair point. 34-24. That would be only the 5th time the Eagles gave up more than 20 points. First time since the Jacksonville game, if that's the score. If Aaron Rodgers retires, maybe he will do his own podcast. And I would never listen to 1 minute of it. I know. I don't know, Al, what you said. Man Chatter just randomly says things. Middleton said he wanted to be Steinbrenner South. Now put your money where your mouth is. Steiner spent his way to 4 championships. Spending in baseball equals winning most of the time. I also think spending in baseball is going to be the downfall of baseball, Rick. If it isn't already beginning the downfall of baseball. But yeah, I agree. Dodgers spend, and that has equal experience. He will put a podcast that only deep sports fans with conspiracy theorists will listen to. He'll end up on McAfee. Yeah, I hate McAfee for having him on. Like, I love Pat McAfee's show, but when he has Aaron Rodgers on, it's a quick this. Boom, change the channel. I can't stand it. Aaron Rodgers might be my least favorite athlete all time in sports, really, honestly. 28-14, Mitchie Poo says, I like that. I can see that. Dodgers won 2 championships in 4 years by spending. Pay attention. When you say something like, I'm going to spend stupid money, you better do it, right? Big Al is a pro-mummer, and that's good enough for me. He didn't say he was pro-mummer. He said he was tired of mummers. I want baseball out of business as it's too slow. Whatever. Cliff Kingsbury is a good offense coordinator. Just Fangio is on his game this year. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury's a good OC. I find Cliff Kingsbury very overrated. Kingsbury gets paid to be on McAfee. Yes, he does. And that makes it even more annoying. Like, seriously. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I like Pat McAfee, except I hate him because all the attention he gives to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers might be the most least likable person in the history of sports. Like, plain and simple, in my opinion. Eagles win 28-19. I love scores like that, 19 points. Like, so random, that number, but I like it. I hope you're right. It was nice to see Rodgers and Adams connect again. Why was it nice? I could care less. I don't care one iota about Rodgers and Adams connecting. McAfee is the only reason ESPN still exists. That might be true. That very well might be true. For sure. I would love a Pat McAfee studio and a Pat McAfee show. Give me Pat McAfee's, budget. Let's put Trending in the AM in a studio like that. And I would still make it all about the Core 12. Just so you know. If I was on ESPN doing this show, it would still be all about the Core 12. I'm just telling you right now. Aaron for Mitchell, go back to Cincinnati. All right, guys. We're in the final 5 minutes of the show. I got to start the wrap-up process here. Got a big Friday at the pizza shop. So, final score, like I said, I say 24-20 with a late touchdown for the Commanders to get it to that point. But I see us locking up the NFC East. And I think they're going to consider pushing Barkley this week. I see him getting about 100, 120 yards this week. A little bit less than last time he played the Commanders. I don't know if I would stand up the whole time like him. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I'd sit sometimes, then stand up other times. The problem is, would I still control the comments on my own? Or would I have would I have to have a screener, checking your comments so when you say something, you or Marshawn say something, or Duck trying to get me to say bad words on the air, couldn't let them slide. I don't know. And there's finally the Mitchie Poo we know and love. Like, would I be allowed to put a Mitchie Poo comment? Oh, only 4 more subscribers to whatever number. Oh, man, Mitchie Poo, love you, my man. McAfee is the only show on ESPN. They basically fired 75% of their on-air talent to pay him and Stephen A. Smith, basically, yes. Yeah, exactly. Kenny G has been billing. Kenny G's been earning himself a paycheck for next year. That's for sure. And he is going to be a starter on a football team somewhere in the NFL next year. We also have to wrap up because my coffee's empty. If I was the Pat McAfee show, I'd have somebody working for me that would fill my coffee up mid-show for sure. But do you have to? You're not going to get me to say that one out loud. Again, I don't think that comment would slide on ESPN right now. Guys, please like and subscribe and share this video. Have we even gained 1 new subscriber today? We started the show out at 309. Are we still at 309? Only 191 subscribers till 500. Highly doubt I'll be able to get to 500 by the year end. I'm starting to turn negative on that. I really thought there was a chance, but I do appreciate each and every one of you. Guys, you're going to want to look forward to Monday's show because we are going to air our grievances, win or lose, on Sunday for the Eagles. It is going to be the show of airing of grievances for the Festivus, for the rest of us episode of Trending. We don't always get Festivus during the week, so having it be Festivus on a Monday, on an overreaction Monday, agree with that, Duck. Thank you very much, Rick. I can't wait to listen to your episode. So we gained 1 new subscriber today. Good. That's better than none. So I like that. 59 more for whatever Mitchie Poo wants it to be at this time. That's 190 more for what I want, which is 500. And I don't know why 500. I just want to see 500 because that's the next threshold to me that's important to get to 1,000, then get to 100,000, then to get to 1 million, right? 1,069,000 is only how many away? Mitchie Poo, how many subscribers do I need to get to 1,069,000 subscribers? Embiid is playing with a mask tonight. Good. Good for him. Honestly, Todd, I've watched so minimal Sixers basketball in the last couple of weeks. A, because I have only played 3 games, but B, because I'm so mentally exhausted by the Sixers, Todd. Embiid should play in a mummer's costume. Josh Allen Glaze equals subs. Really? I don't think so. Mitchie Poo 369. Is that 3 in this? Oh, my. Almost read that one out. Great show. Thank you very much, Adam. Go Birds. My man. Guys, with that being said, got to do the ending. I don't want to call it the wrap-up process, but I got to do the ending. Black Panther? What about Black Panther? By the way, guys, side note, I did watch Carry On Netflix last night. Jason Bateman, the airport security movie. There were a lot of bad reviews of the movie out there, and it was not a great movie, but it was a fun movie. It was an entertaining movie. It was kind of like Die Hard. It was a Christmas movie, but not really a Christmas movie. It was basically Die Hard from Netflix in an airport, which was a Netflix movie, which was Die Hard 2. Thoroughly enjoyed, thoroughly entertained by the movie. Carry On was very fun. It wasn't great, but it was very, very fun watch. Had a little bit of, you can tell, with what's his name because of the Kingsman, the way some of the filming was done of the movie. It was fun. It has to be Friday for me to be blue. Carry On was good. It was good. Not going to win any awards, but it was good. It was okay. It was entertaining. Fun is it was fun. I think fun is the best description of Carry On. Embiid is Black Panther with the mask. Gotcha. Go Birds. Sirianni is great. Patricia. Well, see, look at you saying 2 nice things about Nick Sirianni today. I love it. I love it. Guys, with that being said, it's time to wrap it up. I got Eagles 24-20. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Like, subscribe, share. Guys, if you can all find me 5 people to subscribe to this channel this weekend, you know how high we would have the subscriber count up to? We'd hit that 369 for Mitchie Poo like that. So find me some subscribers, guys. Everybody have a great weekend. Go Birds and bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep.